And so here I am, and this is the beginning screen here. It's going to have the knowledge base management and data quality projects, and then the administration. So what I'm going to go through here now is create a sample knowledge base and then go through and show you how to use that knowledge base to cleanse your data. Now the data I'm going to use is actually from Microsoft's tutorial. Maybe some of you guys may have seen this before. Microsoft put out what I think honestly is a very good tutorial on data quality services. It actually has data quality services and also ties into master data services, which we won't get into in this webinar. But actually, I think it's very good. But even if you've gone through this tutorial before, there's still some value added to this. I'm going to go in depth in some of the things that they don't go into in this tutorial. But I mean, it's a great tutorial because the data that they have there, it's already pre-done data, and it will hit on every point that I want to get here. So I figure why recreate the wheel when I have one here. So we're going to start here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a knowledge base. So we're going to create a new knowledge base, and we're going to create it from scratch. So if you go here, you click New Knowledge Base, and this one here is based off a fictional company, and it's a supplier list from a fictional company. So right now I'm just going to type in suppliers as the name of the knowledge base. Oh, and one side note, when this is over, I'm actually going to post a link to this on my blog. So if you want to actually take this and download it, it's a fairly quick download. There's I'd say about 100 pages of Word document to walk you through these, along with some sample data. But yeah, I said it's even after this, I think it's phenomenal. So I mean, just to learn it. So I've taught this numerous times, and I've always used this same set of data. Okay, so for now we're going to go into suppliers, and what we're going to do is domain management. So this is the first step in creating a knowledge base. You're just going to, what it says, manage your domains. So let's go here and hit next. So what you're going to do is create a list of domains which will coincide with the fields that are coming in your data. So for this one here, I'm just going to go through list. Supplier ID is one of the fields, and there's a list of about 7 here I'll add. But before I do that, I'm just going to touch on some of these options. Description, pretty self-explanatory. You can put a description of each field, or you cannot. It's just there as an option. And you can also select the data type of the data coming in. For this demo, we're just going to use strings for everything, just to make it simple. Use leading values. This one is going to be used for synonyms, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So basically, synonyms are 2 values that mean the exact same thing. So USA versus United States, both equal United States. But we'll get to that a little bit later. And normalized string just ignores the punctuation. And so you can enable spell checking, and you can disable syntax checking for error algorithms. For these, I always say that the defaults are there for a reason. I usually leave most of these defaults. I've never really had a good reason to change them. So usually, if they're defaults and you don't have a great reason for changing them, pretty much just leave them be. Okay, so I'm creating a supplier ID that's going to come in as a string. So you can see now I have a string. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to set up the rest of my domains here. So I'm just going to go through. And these are all going to be the fields that are going to be coming in on my data and the ones I want to use within DQS. And these are all fair. There is nothing out of the ordinary here. These are all things I'm sure we, as data developers, have all seen a million times. Standard, supplier name, ID. Then I'm going to do all of the address fields. So I'm going to do state, and then country and zip. And there we go. So that's it. So now my domains are set up for all of my data coming in. So now we can actually go in and start adding knowledge to this knowledge base to help us in the cleansing process. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with country. And so now I have country selected. I'm going to start with the domain values. The domain values tab is going to show a list of all of the valid values for that particular domain. So for instance, country, you can have a list of all the countries. You can just have United States, maybe you're just a domestic country, or anything in between. So for now, since these are all blank and we're doing this manually, and I'll actually show how you can also automate this process. But for now, we're doing this manually. We wanted to add a value that's valid. So the obvious thing would be to add United States. So I'll come here to the Add New Domain Value, right-click, and just type United States, spelled correctly. So do that, and so now there are two values, DQS null, which means for this particular one, we're allowing null values. If I wanted, I could delete this value, and you wouldn't accept nulls. But for this one, we are. So I just came here and just added a value called United States, and the type is correct. I mean, like I said, nothing too out of the ordinary. So the next one we'll go to state. And same thing here. So we're going to start typing in states, and we can put in all 50 states here. So say I came in here and I typed in New York. Then I could come in here and type in Pennsylvania. Obviously, I could do that, and I'm sure you're all thinking, complete waste of time. You obviously don't want to go in and type every single state in there. So what you can do is, I'm going to delete that. There's actually an option also to import data. So for instance, there's a button here called Import Values. So if you click on this, and you can import values from an Excel. Just a side note, this is one of my personal notes. DQS works with Excel and it also works with SQL Server. So when you export data, you can export it to SQL. For some reason, you can only use this part with Excel. So for instance, if I had, for here, I actually put my data in a database here, states to import. These are all the states that I want to import. But for some reason, you can't use it to import it into DQS here. Maybe you're going to change that. This is a very new product, so I'm sure I'm not the only one complaining about it. But for all intents and purposes, this can only be used for Excel.